2, 3.
Percy Bysshe Shelley was a British poet. He was a radical thinker who urged the working class to revolt against exploitation through non-violent means. His poetry and writings often reflect that. In fact, he wrote an article on atheism, a subject considered taboo in those times. He was expelled from Oxford University for writing that. Ozymandias is one of Shelley's most famous poems. It is a sonnet, which is a 14-line poem. There's an interesting story about how Shelley was inspired to write this poem. One evening, Shelley and his friend Horace Smith were discussing Napoleon's conquest of Egypt. They talked about the statue of Ozymandias, an Egyptian ruler who was also known as Ramses II. Their conversation led to a competition between them, and they both decided to write a poem on the statue. Both poems tell the same story. However, Shelley's poem is more popular. I met a traveller from an antique land who said, "Two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that his sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive. Stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear, My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away." Here's a brief summary of the poem Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. The narrator of the poem meets a traveller from an ancient land. The traveller talks about a massive statue which lies shattered in the desert. What remains of the statue are its two huge legs without an upper body. The shattered face of the statue is partially buried in the sand nearby. There is a frown on the face, and the expression is cold, commanding, and arrogant. The emotions on the face are so realistic and detailed that it is clear the sculptor had an acute understanding of the king. The face chiseled by the sculptor still survives in that barren land. On the pedestal of the statue is an inscription by the king. The king introduces himself as Ozymandias, the king of all kings. The inscription further claims that even the mightiest men will look at the king's achievements and despair, that they have achieved nothing compared to the king. Now, the once mighty statue lies in ruins. There is nothing around except vast stretches of sand.